Yeah, here we go. Okay, so everyone, look, I'm no different to most of you sat in the room. For the last couple of years, I've been working in the optimization, analytics, and personalization space with the sole aim of seeing how we can make things better. How can we challenge the current thinking within organizations, in particular retail, and drive things forward? My strongest quality is the ability to come into a business and say, why are we doing it this way? Why can't we do it different? How can we do it better? And then actually putting that into play. And so when thinking about today's talk, I didn't want to just walk you through some of the experiences that I built over the last couple of years. Instead, I wanted to try and look at that, but also look at the barriers to delivering excellent customer experience and personalization. So let's drill into some of the examples. So, challenge number one. I was working at EE a couple of years ago, and EE, for anyone who in the room doesn't know who EE are basically the UK's largest 4G network. And basically, EE was created by a joint venture between France Telecom and Deutsche Telekom, creating a 30 million customer base of mobile customers. And the challenge set out to us is we were to try and find operational efficiencies, build a brand new platform that covered 3 different customer types, but under one brand. The challenge that left us with was more than 75% of our customers actually still were on T-Mobile or Orange contracts and had no affinity with EE. So, with the use of Adobe Target and AEM, we decided to see how we could go about solving that problem. And we came up with the following. We knew that more than 50% of our customers engaged with us via their mobile phones, and they were engaging with us over their own mobile network. We were able to pass an ID into people's browsing header that allowed us to identify which brand that customer had bought their phone and contract with. That allowed us to deliver some signposting to say, hey, by the way, you're in the right place, don't worry. You know, it might be a new brand, but you know, we're here, we know you're meant to be here. And eventually, we then rolled that out further to the point where when people would go in and search for content in real time on the website, we would be able to use that brand filter to actually understand which network they belong to and pre-select their content for them. So if someone was on the EE network and purchased from EE, we decided to choose ways to top up using EE, Orange, or T-Mobile. It saved an interaction for the customer, it made it more personal, and it helped them get to their journey faster. Challenge number 2. Often happens, large retailer trying to basically deliver multiple different promotions, so competing merchandisers are trying to deliver their experience, their promotional codes, and a customer gets an email. But it's not the primary offer when you get through to the website, so it doesn't create a seamless experience. So again, we try and use Target to solve this problem. So let's walk through this little video. Customer gets the email, clicks on it, lands on the website. What we do, we set a cookie with the promotional codes. I'll walk through it. So we pass the promotional code into a cookie. Customer then selects the products. We persist the messaging from the promotion that they've clicked on to say that, by the way, you're still going to get this. Persist it into the basket summary. And then we auto-populate it for them when they get to the checkout. Now you'll notice I made a bit of an error. I took this video the day after the promotion run out. But in theory, what it did is it actually auto put this in and applied the discount so the customer didn't have to. Because again, we wanted to make that, basically that experience that a little bit more seamless, that little bit more effortless. Challenge number 3, and something that we're working on, it's in QA at the moment. Retailers are being pressurized to try and deliver, basically margin improvements, but at the same time they're being pressurized to actually reduce price. So we wanted to find a way that we could deliver personalization to the end user, but at the same time monetize the recommendations that we're making to those customers. So with the use of Adobe Analytics, recommendations, and hook logic, for anyone who doesn't know what hook logic are, the simplest way for me to explain it is hook logic is the equivalent of a click-based advertising tool or third-party tool that advertises the products that you sell, but within your website. So let me go through in a little example here. Again, I'm in the home and garden furniture section. I viewed the products. I come back to the home page, let's say in a returning visitor in the same session, I build a recommendation template that says you recently viewed, use the analytics data to make the call out and say, here's 4 other products based on what other people have viewed. I could view a bike, come back and it would build a new recommendation. Now that in itself is not super clever. The clever piece behind here is we're making a third-party API call out to that hook logic database to say, are any of these products monetized? If so, let's wrap the link with a monetization code, so if anyone was to click on any of these links, we'd actually be able to generate up to 60, 70p per click, and we're making it very personal to the customer. So those are some of the things and some of the ideas that we've built out in the different organizations that I've worked on to deliver more targeted personal experiences, but also trying to build recommendations. However, it's not as simple as that. Personalization and recommendations are wonderful. It's a fantastic concept, but retailers face massive challenges in order to try to deliver recommendations and personalization. And there are a couple of big barriers to success. Customers don't care about your org charts, they care about their problems, yet almost everything that we do is defined by the structures we have in place based on what we always did rather than what we should be doing tomorrow. And what we find is that most retail chief executives actually don't believe they're in a good place to deliver great personalized experiences. Only 19% believe that their digital teams and their marketing teams work collaboratively. Worse still, only 16% actually believe that they're able to basically deliver, with the process they've got in place, an excellent customer experience. That leaves massive challenges. And as a business, what we need to try to do is actually say, it's not about silos, it's not about our individual KPIs, it has to be about customer flows and customer experiences. And we need to start creating end-to-end owners of journeys as opposed to section-by-section product owners. So let's take a journey. Someone's on a PPC campaign, and they're in the research phase. They click on a PPC campaign. That's usually held by marketing and managed by an agency. You get to a website, you've now got content, different merchandising teams, different promotional teams. And before you know it, there's 10 or 12 different stakeholders involved in their idea of what we should be doing on a website, rather than the single view of what we should be doing for our customers. The next biggest challenge that companies face is culture. Particularly retailers, they have a traditional culture of retailing. I would suggest that needs to be rethought. And I'm going to use a little bit, walk you through an experiment. There was a famous experiment done in 1967 around social culture and groupthink, whereby 5 monkeys were put in a room, they were starved, and they were basically starved until they were so hungry that they put some food on top of a platform and said, okay, let's see if they go and climb for it. And what they did, as soon as one monkey climbed up the ladder, they soaked the remaining monkeys with ice cold water. And they repeated the exercise over and over again until what would happen is the monkeys associated that one monkey was doing something different to the group, and the monkeys would then turn on anyone trying to climb that platform. Till they got to the point where actually what had been established is no one would ever climb the ladder despite how hungry they were or despite how good the food was at the top. They just didn't want to break from the group. And that's what corporate culture's like. There's an established way of doing things. So they took the experiment a stage further. They started to systematically replace and swap the monkeys out. Take one monkey out, put a new monkey in. And that monkey would get hungry, and the food would be there. So they'd reach for the food. But the other monkeys would turn on that monkey and beat that monkey so he didn't go for food, despite never being soaked. They would continue to repeat this until all the monkeys in the room had never been in the original experiment, but yet would never go for the food. They would never challenge the group think to move on, to do new things. And that needs to change. Retailers need to actually start thinking that little bit different and say, are we actually retailers anymore? Do we even think that way? Because if you think in one way, you act consistently with the way that you think. So the thing is, keep challenging. And Einstein has a nice quote around this, which is, learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow, but never stop questioning. And that's the challenge for most organizations. If they've been doing something for so long and it's worked, they never challenge to say, well, actually, could we just do this completely different? So how can you combat that? What are the things you could do to make this a little bit different? Well, have a purpose, not a plan. Okay? Innovation is what defines leadership. Most corporate cultures encourage us to sit in meetings all day, create PowerPoints, create strategies, create plans. We don't focus on purpose. Why do we exist? What are we doing to benefit the customer and changing people's lives? Purpose creates clarity. It helps people move forward. It gives both your employees and your customers something to believe in. And purpose will take you far further than a plan ever will. And most companies sit there and plan. Planning is a fallacy. Okay? It's been proven time and time again through numerous experiments that humans are just poor planners. We're bad at forecasting. We're bad at estimating. Let's start doing something different and set out and have a purpose. Deliver. If you're going to do something different, if you're going to break from the group and do something different, you have to deliver. Fundamentally, you have to be able to step up to the game and actually make something happen, because otherwise you'll be outcast from the group. If you go away and you stop producing plans and stop producing large strategies and aren't delivering the goods, then unfortunately, fundamentally, it just won't work. Some of the better companies are moving to new ways of thinking and new ways of working. So one of the biggest things happening in the likes of Zappos and various other companies is they're moving to role cultures, whereby they actually measure success based on the results their teams deliver rather than how they work, where they work, or how it gets done. All they care about is, are we delivering value? Are we moving the needle day after day? It's not about our activity. It's not about how much we do. Did we deliver 100 tests this year? Who cares? Are we moving the needle and are we adding value? I'm going to use this to finish, which is a lot of what you'll have heard today talks about the need for data and the need for better technology platforms and better integrations. It's not about data and it's not about technology, in my opinion. It's about thinking. This is a thinking and creativity problem. You have to put customers at the center of what it is that you do. Think about what you're doing is solving their problems and making a difference. Companies with purpose and the willingness to deliver for their customers will actually always win, because it's about innovation, it's about moving forward, nothing else. The data and the technology are purely enablers for you to move that idea forward.